Former President Donald Trump got another helping hand from the judge presiding over the Mar-a-Lago documents case. On Friday, District Judge Eileen Cannon issued a new order rejecting Special Counsel Jack Smith's request for Trump to state whether he intends to rely on advice of counsel defense ahead of the trial, which is currently scheduled for May 20th. Advance notice helps to expedite a trial because the defendants asserting it need to provide additional discovery to prosecutors. Raising the defense means that defendants must disclose all communications with their attorneys as the defense waives the attorney-client privilege. Now, according to an article in Slate, Judge Cannon's brief order asserts that Smith's motion was not amenable to proper consideration at this juncture, prior to at least partial resolution of pretrial motions. Those pretrial motions, by the way, are proceeding at a snail's pace. It's basically glacial at this point, and further discovery that it adds. So what does all this mean? Well, as I mentioned, this means that the trial will be further delayed and dragged out until after the next election, which is, by the way, the whole point. That's what Donald Trump's hoping for, and it's not a surprise to see her doing him all sorts of solids. After all, she does have her job as a result of Trump, and so what she's doing is again slow walking the whole thing, making sure that by the time the trial date rolls around, nothing's going to be ready. And so it's going to be delay after delay after delay. And it's going to delay other trials as well. So that's a problem. Okay. Now, the article notes that it's deeply offensive to the rule of law for judges to bend the law to benefit those who put them on the bench. Sadly, Cannon does just that. And yeah, this is how. Not exactly breaking the rules, but again, taking everything super slow and making sure that this cannot be resolved until after the election. Now, why does that matter? By waiting until after the election, of course, which he assumes he'll win, he'll just say, well, you can't go after me. I have presidential immunity. There you go. I mean, you can't come for me. Now, I've talked about presidential immunity and how he does not understand what that actually means. It's not blanket immunity from prosecution. It's actually limited to official presidential actions. Okay? So they can't come after you for doing something that's part of your job, right? Now, that said, in this case, he took classified material that he did not declassify before leaving office and took it home. And when they asked for it back, he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give you the documents. I don't care. They're mine now. I own them. No, but they're not yours. They're property of the United States government. Those are not your documents. Okay? And so he wasn't doing that as part of his official job duties. No, this was after he was no longer president. So, turns out you can charge a sitting president for actions that they took before taking office. So, if Donald Trump wins, then yes, they could technically continue to go after him. Now, the problem here is the fact that if Trump does win, none of this is going to matter. Why? Because Republicans have already planned on a way to prevent that. I've talked about Project 2025. Now, Project 2025 is basically a way to allow Donald Trump to get away with anything. And not just Donald Trump, but any Republican president afterwards. All right? So what it would do is give the president direct power over agencies like the DOJ. It would place the entire executive branch under direct presidential control. It is a massive expansion of power. You could even call it a power grab. Not good. So now everybody not loyal to Trump would be fired. This is outlined in the whole thing. And they have a database of people that are aligned to the project's agenda, ready to take over in the federal government. Russell Vought, a former Trump administration official who heads the Center for Renewing America, stated that the project's goal of removing federal workers would be a, quote, wrecking ball for the administrative state. As I said before, there would be a massive amount of defunding of the DOJ. You would also have people who are Trump loyalists that are in the DOJ, everyone who's not loyal to Trump fired from these different agencies. And so what do you think would happen to the Mar-a-Lago documents case?
Bing, 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 boom. It's gone.
That's it. It's gone. It's gone. Any federal case against Donald Trump that is not resolved until after the election would be gone. Prosecutors like Jack Smith would be gone, fired. Anyone in the federal government who has participated in any case against Donald Trump, gone. Wouldn't get rid of state cases, but it would get rid of federal cases. And for Jack Smith, that's what he's got. Federal cases against Trump, including this Mar-a-Lago documents. So that is why Judge Gannon is basically trying to make it so that this will not be resolved before the election. So that's why she's slow walking the case, man. As Politico reported, she has postponed key pretrial deadlines, and she has added further slack into the schedule simply by taking her time to resolve some fairly straightforward matters. Now, one could argue, well, it's because she's inexperienced. She has very, very little experience in being a justice, okay? And so, of course, it's going to take her longer because she had no idea what she's doing. Sure, you could buy that argument, except for the fact that, again, Donald Trump put her in that position, and she just happens to now be presiding over a very important case involving the guy who put her there. There is a clear conflict of interest here, and it seems like she is biased and needs to be removed. As New York University law professor Andrew Weissman put it, Judge Cannon's bias is showing over and over again, and it's very clear that she is in the bag for Trump, and I could not agree with that statement more.